100%. There is nothing harder. That's why 9 out of 10 of them are good when they start off. Like, you can never have the expectation of this guy's going to win a Super Bowl. It's why none of them have ever done it. Like, Ben is the closest quarterback to ever get there. And I think Steelers fans, myself included, I grew up a Steelers fan, and I grew up like Ben was the first quarterback I ever knew. And what I learned is that, okay, these people just come in here and they're phenomenal. Like, they're just Ben Roethlisberger. It is what it is. No, that's not how it works. Like, you have to adjust to the NFL. Yeah, and I think Kenny Pickett's going to get there. Like, I think next season, if the expectation was, okay, the Steelers should win the AFC North and they should make a run and Kenny should be a pretty good quarterback, I'd be like, yeah, that's where the bar should be. But this year, I thought they've smoked the bar. Like, where I had the Steelers at the beginning of the season and where I have them right now, I was like, well, I never saw this coming. Like, a shot for the playoffs, 6-8. I thought they'd win 6 games total on the season. And, maybe that could still happen, but I don't expect it to. And I think it's because Kenny has come in here and proven a lot of people wrong, myself included, about how quickly he could actually adjust to the NFL. This is obviously a joke because I do not take it seriously, but there are a lot of people out there that drop it in the comments all over Twitter, the whole 9. I asked Derek, he laughed. Do you think that he's worse than Brock Purdy? Do you think the Steelers messed up by not taking Mr. Irrelevant instead of a first-round quarterback?
You know what that is to me? It's another indictment of Kyle Shanahan's offense, how easy he makes it for quarterbacks. I mean, look at the track record there. Like, not that Matt Ryan was a bad player, but to have him win MVP, what he did with RG3 in Washington. I mean, we could sit here and I could look up his track record and go on and on about the situations that he puts quarterbacks in and the success that they've had. I just think that that's more of an indictment of what they've surrounded him with in the offense that he plays in, as opposed to Kenny Pickett's offense. I know that this is a meme and I saw it on Twitter and stuff like that. But I mean, hey, that's great for Brock Purdy, though. I'm not trying to take away from him. He's certainly exceeded expectations for a Mr. Irrelevant in year 1. He's probably done more in this stretch of games than people thought he would in his career. So, he's taken this opportunity and run with it. Great for him, but no, I don't think that, this makes him a better prospect or better player than Kenny Pickett.
Do you think that if the Steelers drafted a quarterback this offseason, which I think is very possible, not like an early quarterback, a late round quarterback, just a backup, get somebody else in there that you don't have to go spend money on. Do you expect there to be like a little bit of tension within the fan base of, maybe a little quarterback controversy that they want to stir up?
Yeah, because it's like they look for it. The same reason that I just mentioned. It's like we had Kenny in there, everybody, but you still had a part of the fan base that never wanted to switch from Mitch. He wasn't the problem. And then you had Kenny in there. Kenny gets hurt. Mitch, throws 3 interceptions in that game, which was very winnable. And then you have people talking about, should Mason start this game, who, Mason had been written off by the fan base and everybody wanted to run him out of town. Now he was in a position where people wanted him to start. And then Mitch doesn't turn the ball over and they win. And now it's, should he continue to start over Kenny Pickett?
Yep.
People look for these conversations to happen. So yeah, when the Steelers do add a quarterback in some fashion, because I don't think that do you want to bring Mitch back as the backup at what he's going to cost right now? I don't know that Mason, although he's been very professional this season, would necessarily want to come back into this situation.
He would never. Never.
Yeah.
Would you bring Mitch back?
To me,
would you bring Mitch back as the backup?
I just think that they can get a backup quarterback for cheaper than what he's going to cost. So I don't think that you can. I think you would have to and again, would he even want this to happen? I think that you would have to cut him and then re-sign him at a lower number. And I just don't think that he would do that. I just think you can get another backup quarterback for $2.5-3 million as opposed to $5 to $8.
Yeah,
so
I agree. I agree. I think it'd have to come down to the money. I also don't think Mitch is a guy that wants to come back. You get booed at home in your first ever game in Pittsburgh. I don't know if I'm I can't wait to return next season to these guys. Even though, there has been love for Mitch. Mason, there's not a chance. If Mason came back next year, it would blow my mind. Like, there's one image I think of, or one story. My first year in the locker room was Artie Burns' last year with the Steelers. And at the end of the season, there's the locker clean out day where the media gets to go in and talk to these guys. And our Artie is filling a garbage bag with the stuff in his locker. And I went over to talk to him and he was like, I was like, yo, you got a couple minutes? And he's like, yeah, I'm actually I got to go somewhere real quick. And I'll come back and catch me. And I was like, all right, sounds good. And I talked to him for 2-3 minutes, and essentially the interview, which I did not put out there, was, yes, I'm very excited to get out of here. I have all the respect in the world for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I cannot wait to leave. And I was like, all right, yeah, I get it. And I think Mason's the same way. I think at some point you just realize this isn't the place you want to be anymore. It's time to move on. And, especially the way they've pulled him around. Like Mason has been a prop doll for the last 2 years, and it just hasn't been, can't be good for the ego. It can't be good for the mentals, any of that. So I would think he's gone. Do you have a quarterback in mind that you've thought of and said maybe these guys could go get him in the offseason?
The only one that I thought of, although like he might be looking for another starting job somewhere, would be like a Gardner Minshew, who's in Philly right now, and he's going to
I
have a
knew
chance
you were
to
going to
start a
say that
couple
name.
games. Yeah, he's gonna have a chance to start a couple games now with Jalen Hurts being banged up, which he could parlay that into like a Mitch Trubisky potentially opportunity somewhere else, where it's like he
Yeah.
goes somewhere, they're going to add a quarterback in the draft or something, but maybe he starts a few games at the beginning of the season and can turn that into something else the following one, or obviously stay there if that guy gets hurt or doesn't pan out and the team's in contention, wants to make a switch. I don't know. I haven't dove into it a ton. I just have a hard time thinking at his price tag we're going to see Trubisky back as the backup next year. So
Yeah, I agree. I think it's way too much money. We'll see. Josh Dobbs is a name I've tossed out there a couple of times. I think
another reunion. Yeah.
like just makes sense. You know what I mean? Like he's a guy that at worst he could come in here and be a third string. At best, he's a quality backup and he's a super smart guy. Mike Tomlin loves him. I think he helps all around.